Peace fam, it's your girl Kia, aka the Concrete Rose, and I'm back with another video. So as you guys can tell by the title, today is going to be another late night message. It's like 12 in the morning at this point. And I really wanted to share, like, I wrote this journal entry April 25th. And when I was writing it, like literally in the middle of me writing it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. But you know how that is. Like, you say you're gonna do something, then life just be life, and okay, and you end up forgetting about it. But whatever. So today I was talking with a spiritual community that I'm a part of, and I actually, well, I didn't share my journal entry, but the conversation was centered around what I wrote in my journal entry. And a lot of the people in the community resonated with it. A lot of people, said that it basically spoke truth to them. So I was like, okay, I definitely gotta hop on here and tell my tribe about this, right? So as we are growing, right? As we are growing, as we are awakening, because we don't just have one spiritual awakening, right? We have multiple spiritual awakenings. But as we're growing, as we're learning, as we're ascending, certain things begin to either fall away, become clear to us, or like we just have these certain like paradigm shifts, and I told you guys, I think it was in my last video, I told you guys that I was working with the root chakra, and the root chakra basically, is all about foundations, security, stability, and things of that nature. So through me working with the root chakra, I was doing a lot of reflection on my foundations, right? I was doing a lot of reflection on my spiritual journey, like where I am currently in my life and in my path, and my relationship with God, because at the end of the day, God is the foundation, God is the foundation to everything, or at least for me, right? At least for me. And so I was really just reflecting on my relationship with God and who God is to me, and how God shows up for me. And so that's how this journal entry came about. So yes, it's a journal entry, but like I said, it's low key, well, high key, late at night. And like I said, I was talking with my tribe, and they really affirmed for me that what I said basically spoke to them. So I just want to share it with you guys because, you know, like I said, when I was writing, it was put on my spirit that I should share with YouTube, and I just never got around to it. So I'm just going to share. I'm just going to share, and I'm just going to leave it with you guys. And yeah. So basically, I said, I spoke to God today about everything, and there was a peace that came over me. The peace came from the knowing that God, aka my creator, will never be disconnected from me. It's like no matter what happens with you and your parents, it'll never change the fact that they are your parents. They will always be connected to you and you connected to them. The difference is that your parents are flawed human beings and God is God. God is able to see all because he or she created it all. God is always able to see the bigger picture. God does not see things in polarities. In our human brain, in this 3D physical reality, we are given a lens to look through the eyes of our family, friends, religions, etc., that teach us to see things as bad or good. But in a higher state of consciousness, God sees things as just happening in divine order. It's truly the work of the enemy to make us feel as though we are disconnected from God. God is always with us and never leaves us. It's us who walk away from our connection to God. But God is all around us. So what do I mean when I say it's us who walk away from God? When I say that, I'm saying that it's us who lose this awareness of God, right? God is all around us, babes. Like, God is in the trees, God is in the wind, God is the sun, God is the moon, God is in us, God is in the water. God is literally all around us. When I'm thinking of God, I don't per se think of God as like um a being in the sky. When I'm saying God as in he or she, that's because God has both masculine and feminine energy. God is everything. God encompasses everything, right? And so how we disconnect from God, because God doesn't disconnect from us. God is present. God is always present. God is always around us. But we disconnect from God because we lose sight of who God is. And how do we lose sight? Because we get caught up in the ways of the world. We get caught up in how people choose to define him in a limited sense, or her. Because look, even as I'm talking about it, right? I'm catching myself. I'm catching the programming. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I was literally reflecting on this with God, going back to my foundations, going back to who God is to me. And it's like, bruh, that's been programmed in my head to think God is just a man sitting in the sky. Like, to think that God is this like dictator and he's just gonna, hellfire. Like, literally, like that is the picture that we have of God in our head. But it's like God is literally bigger than that. God is so much bigger than that. God is so much grander than that. you know um so yeah, that was just something that I was reflecting on. That was something that I was thinking about. And you know as I grow more on my spiritual journey, I realize that God loves me through everything. God loves you through everything. God loves us through everything. And God shows that they love us. They, because, both masculine and feminine energy. God shows us that they love us by just us existing. Like, do you realize that it is a blessing and a privilege to be here right now? Right now, to be here on this planet, in this universe, living this life, breathing this air. Like, it is truly a blessing. It is truly a privilege. Like, we could be just nothing. We couldn't even be us without God. There would be no world, no universe, no nothing without God, you know? So, yeah, like, that was just something to think about, like, I feel like, especially like once you get on a spiritual journey and you start taking accountability for your actions and things, it's so easy to get caught up in like, oh, I used to be the bad guy, or you do shadow work and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm just, oh my gosh, I'm just this fucked up person, like. But it's like, you're here doing the work, uncovering these things about yourself, uncovering these things about others around you. Like, it just gives you a completely different outlook on life, on the world, because what we were talking about in the book club meeting that I had, where I was discussing this, the question that was posed was, what is higher consciousness to you? And what is awakening to you? And my answer was that awakening is simply realizing that I am never disconnected from God. That God is literally all around me. God is in me. And like just all around me, like literally, God is just here. God is always present, you know? And I feel like reaching that higher state of consciousness is realizing this, because it gives you a sense of peace. It gives you a sense of like tranquility to know that even if I do mess up, even if I do make mistakes, even if I do kind of stray away, I'm never really that far away from God. It's a mental thing. It's a mind thing. You know, once you come back to your higher self, to your higher awareness, your higher self is connected to God. Your higher self is like that link to source, you know, to that higher awareness, to that higher consciousness. And it's like once you tap into that, it's like, damn, hold on. Everything is God. Like the fact that I'm here right now, the fact that I'm breathing right now, the fact that I have what I have, and it's not even on the material things. It's like even the homeless man down the street, baby, like that man has God within him. He's there with you on the same planet, breathing the same air as you. Yes, y'all probably made different choices. Yes, y'all probably went different paths. Yes, y'all probably, it was 12-12. I don't know what that means, but baby, 12-12, okay? Alignment. I don't know. So, it's just like y'all went different paths. Yes, y'all went different ways. Yes, y'all did different things. Yes, y'all have different perspectives and different ways of looking at the world and showing up in the world. But y'all are still here together on this floating rock. Even when people talk about how there's like multiple dimensions and multiple worlds and all of that shit is happening at the same time. Right. It's all happening at the same time. Because nothing is ever separate from God, because God created everything. If there was no God, there would be nothing. There would be nothing. There would be nothing. Nothing. Like there wouldn't even be a thing to realize that there was nothing. Like it would just be nothing. So you feel me? Like think about how magnificent that is, that we're here right now, that you're here right now, that you have the awareness that you have right now. Like even if you feel like, even if you're just starting out on your spiritual journey, which I am too. I'm like 3 years in this thing, so I'm still a baby. So, and that's why like I try to share my journey with y'all, and I try to share like the realizations that I come to and like the epiphanies that I have, because I feel like no one is really doing this. Like no one is really taking y'all through the journey. People are just showing up like, hey, I have all these I have all these accolades, and I'm this, and I have this fancy title and this fancy name. But it's like no one is really showing you the journey and the paradigm shifts, and like how one day you think this and then the next day you think that, and then next week is completely something different. Like this is where I am now. This is the awareness that I have now. And I definitely realized that it could grow, or I could completely change my mind a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now. You feel me? But it was just on my spirit to share this with y'all. Like, really tap into God for yourself. Tap into God for yourself and know that you're never that disconnected from God. God is always here with you. God is always listening. God is always paying attention. Like, you can't hide from God. Like, there's stories in the Bible about that, bro. Like, you cannot hide from God. God is in everything. God is everywhere. God is in everybody. Okay? And that may be a little like, what? But there's evil people out here. Okay, again, there is no polarity in the higher state of things. There is no polarity. Things are just happening the way that they're supposed to happen. There's people that are put on this planet to do bad things. They're serving their purpose. You feel me? Then there's people on this planet that are doing great things, right? And they're serving their purpose. You feel me? So, I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry if this was me rambling, but I really wanted to share this with y'all, just share my perspective, and share with y'all like the shifts that my mind are going through and just the way that I'm looking at everything. Always operate out of love, always operate out of wanting to seek God for yourself. Seek God for yourself, seek understanding for yourself. Like, really, really sit with God, really sit with the presence of God, and let God speak to you, because my perspective may not be your perspective, because the way that God shows up for you may not be the way that God shows up for me. And that's just how expansive God is. That's just how grand God is that God can show up in a multitude of ways to different people, but it's all the same thing. So yes, y'all, I love y'all so much. That was just a little quick late night message, late night chat. Yeah, again, I'm sorry if I was rambling, but I just wanted to share. Simple as that. I just wanted to share, y'all. All right, peace, love, and blessings, and I will talk to y'all in my next video. Peace.